So here is our scroll bar demo. Usual stuff down at the bottom, usual stuff up at the top. Let's focus in on the code of interest. So we have a piece of text defined here that we're going to be moving around using the scroll bars. The scroll bars will determine its vertical and horizontal positions. We've defined the scroll bars right here. So we've got SB horizontal and SB vertical. It would kind of make sense for our horizontal scroll bar to be positioned horizontally, which is the default, but the vertical one should be positioned vertically. So we change the orientation of our SB vertical by setting orientation to orientation.vertical. That prepares the two scroll bars now that are going to appear on our demo. We create a pane for the text, and that's where the text is going to be moved around, and we add the text as the only child of this particular window, the pane for text. We're going to put everything inside of a border pane. So the text, which is in the pane for text, is going to be set into the center part of our border pane that we create right here. And in the bottom of our border pane, we're going to put our horizontal scroll bar. And on the right side of our border pane, we're going to put our vertical scroll bar. Now finally, we're going to have to add two listeners, because if the value of either of our two scroll bars changes, we want to act on that. That constitutes an event that we need to respond to. So for the horizontal scroll bar, we will do SB horizontal.valueProperty.addListener. So the value property is an observable value. We're adding a listener to it, and whenever that observable value, here we've represented it by OV, changes, and we're using lambda notation to declare the event handler, then what we will do in response to that event is we will set the text, the x value, x coordinate of our text, to the value that comes from SB horizontal.getValue. But we want it to be relative to the size of the pane, and remember the pane could be changed in size because we can change the size of the stage, we can change the size of the window. So we'll just use this as a multiplication factor. Remember, the values by default, unless we change them, and we haven't, are going to be 0 to 100, so we can think of it like a percentage. And we're going to be multiplying that then by the size of the width of our stage effectively. But we're dividing that by the maximum value of our scroll bar to make it an actual percentage. Because remember, maximum value here by default will be 100. The value that actually comes from the scroll bar will be between 0 and 100. And after doing this division, we're going to have a number between 0 and 1, effectively multiplying the width of the window, and that's where we're going to put the X. So what does all this mean? Well, it means if we put the scroll bar in the middle, the text should go in the middle. If we put the scroll bar to the far right hand side, the text should go to the far right hand side, and if we put it to the far left hand side, it should go to the far left hand side, just as you might intuitively expect. The very same logic is used for the vertical scroll bar, except we use the height of the pane instead of the width of the pane, and we essentially scale that then as a percentage. A number between 0 and 100 comes from the scroll bar, which we divide by the maximum value here, which is 100, giving us a percentage which acts as a weight then to multiply the height of the window. And whatever that number is, that's the Y position now for our text. So let's see what this looks like then. I'm going to run the demo. And there's our window with our scroll bars. If I push this all the way down, the text goes all the way down. If I push it all the way up, the text goes all the way up. It's actually in position 0, and all you can see is the descenders on the G's in programming. And then I can go all the way left and all the way right, and actually just scrolls off when I do that, obviously. So that then is our scroll bar demo.